I think Sayers needs an invite, if possible.
Yeah, we can toss one. Yes. Alright, everyone repair, everyone repair. Alright, log in if you're in car gas and start heading over. Alright, once we get a set of molten core, get summons for wiggles and Golo. Guys, I noticed a lot of people are still needing summons to car gas week after week. You need to set your heart to car gas. Moving forward, if you need a summon, we're just gonna make you hoof it. Which is really tough if you're an orc because you have a wolf.
What's up with it, guys?
Gonna have to
Yeah,
pie.
What's up
I
with
just
it? What's
noticed
up
that
with
it's
it?
a habit for some people, wiggles.
Welcome back
And, I want to make sure people
to another stream. Got a chill molten core going tonight. Hanging out, having some fun. Got a couple world buffs, nothing crazy. What's up, guys? DS, what's up, man? Cass, what's up? How you guys doing? Welcome back. Happy Sunday, everybody. See, I was like 20 seconds behind everyone running, so hopefully we get caught here. Turn the music down a little bit.
Yeah, Icor, hold on, I'm setting up the logs, but I'll add it in just a second. If everyone can check the soft res sheet.
Chillin', leveling your
check that,
boomer.
you guys are on the right
2:23 a.m.
place.
here. Hey, get it done.
I believe
What
it should
level are
be
you right now,
updated,
DS?
But I definitely make mistakes.
How's the volume, guys? The volume okay? Everything sound fine? It's hard. I mess with my volume usually in between streams, so I'm a little worried it's going to be kind of problematic. Dig the jams? Dude, these are wooey beats. This is my live vibes playlist up on Spotify. All royalty free type stuff if any of you guys are making content or need some music for stream that won't get flagged. Dude, can we fit through the door? I can post it in chat if you guys are want the playlist. That if you guys want to follow it. I'm gonna be updating more or uploading more songs, like 4 hours or so of kind of like just audio tracks and stuff. 27 only started yesterday. Man, that's you're doing some work.
Alright, Icor,
27
once
levels in
it's
a day is not shabby.
Oh yeah, sorry, Rid.
It's just best to form the habit, you know?
Uh-huh. You right. Oh no.
I think we might need one clicker to stay out here. Matt, can you stay?
Okay, Icor, double check when you get the chance, but I added you.
How do I like create a channel? Oh, it's okay. I'll figure it out later.
Alright, everyone log in if you're offline. Let's get ready to start pulling. Let's get our buffs out.
We're a little bit short. We got a few guys out this weekend because of the holiday. But it's okay, just Molten Core, we should be fine. Swapped over to the Ring of Spell Power soft res for this week. So hopefully we can get lucky with another couple drops. We'll see. We'll see. How was your guys' holiday? You guys barbecue it up? Anyone hit the beach? Do 4th of July activities?
Right, Spirit Fort int.
Quarantine 4th of July activities?
Is there anyone who's getting on, or are we good with the summons?
Anyone else who is not here should run. Just added you, Alec. Thank you. Corey, do you want to master loot tonight? Otherwise, Ethan also volunteered. It's up to you.
I can still do it, it's fine.
So guys, we did work on our feral set.
No.
Alright. I'll trust that judgment.
I'm making sure my gear is
Yeah, it's
okay.
6, which is normally.
We got everything. I'm fine with that. So we did work on our feral set.
Oh, they are. I was gonna make
thanks,
the offer
Mayo.
for low. I can. Obek is still not.
Let's pull it up here. We have literally no bag space. But we have a set going. I don't have. It's the gear's all in my bank. But we have a set going. I have bracers being made, the craftable ones from the ZG stuff. And then I have double sword gloves and pants we're gonna make. So we'll have a full feral set this next week for BWL.
We do get that.
So
We're gonna start pulling here. In
We'll
just a
see.
second. We're still missing a lot of
I don't
hit
need
buffs,
these.
though.
I don't need those. Thanks,
Sorry,
bro.
I was waiting for the groups to be adjusted.
Alright, who am I paying for Wind Fury?
Mayo got his big shadowing focus staff.
I'll pay you.
Yeah, Ukka's been dealing with some gambling issues, so he's.
What am I doing with the feral set? Feral set is better DPS on Veil.
He is in.
Okay. I'm gonna start pulling.
Good point. I don't know if we have enough trank shots.
We'll see. We're delegating Fairy Fire duty to one of the other druids. We'll see how he does.
Give me your prize for winning bingo.
Aw, damn. I reminded you that one time and then I forgot. But yeah, I will.
No big thing, guys. Just number 3 on the deeps meters right there. Just boomkin stuff, you know what I mean?
Can we have a bingo contest for Edge Masters gauntlets?
If someone donates an Edgemasters gauntlet, sure. Okay, let's before we jump, let's grab this one more Fire Lord here real quick, just to make sure no one accidentally pulls it.
Alright, Warriors, if they
We
beat
got
you on
the
DPS.
Giants too. We got the Giants too.
What do we think the odds are of getting double? Oh, this is a
Fire Lord
bug
first.
out.
Fire Lord first.
Getting double Spellfire rings 2 weeks in a row. Is that possible? Or do you think that's just too ridiculous?
Alright, on to X.
No worries. If I beat you on DPS tonight, it's 20 gold to me on any boss.
What is this?
No Wind Fury.
I'll take that once your world buffs are gone.
No notes.
Yeah, we have the feral set going, getting ready for our Veil Parse. Hopefully we can get a 99 Veil Parse next week with a feral set.
Once his world buffs are
We're
gone.
trying. I should actually be able to get hit cap 2 in my feral set.
Actually, hold on a
Oh
second.
yeah. Oh yes, I love you. I love you so much. Oh!
Taunt.
He's paying me an exorbitant amount of money.
I'm half chubbed now.
There we go.
I'm all about aging.
Logs should start working now. Sorry, I had to make sure they were going.
Live logs. I can give you guys a link here in just 1 second. If any of you guys are curious, let me find it real quick. Hold on.
You know how some people totem twist to get extra buffs? If I fucking group twist to give 2 groups Wind Fury.
Oh yes.
Careful
This-
for the core.
Realistic? No.
I don't think you can do that.
This is supposedly where the live logs will post. Nothing's posted yet because there's no boss fights, but if you guys
You
are
can with Wind Fury because Wind Fury has a 9
curious,
second
want to follow along on any of the boss
buff.
fights,
and the tick rate's
Yeah.
every 5 seconds.
But you couldn't.
It'd be way too much work organizing groups for you, but
Oh god. Can you macro group switches?
I mean,
Uh,
you probably can. Ooh, that's true. Oh, this sounds like a nightmare.
It might be shitty with how it like updates the buffs when you move around.
At what point would it be more effective for you to DPS as LA units?
What I'm hearing is, hey, whoa, we don't bash Ellie's here.
Sure we do all the time.
You're usually just not around when we do it. Oh.
Our last LA shaman was a shitty
Can I see your talent tree? Yeah.
Yeah, we have this record of
Here,
giving
let's
our
do
Ellie
this.
Shaman's gear and then they just leave.
Yeah. Same with Resto Druids.
So we have
Fuck Resto Druids.
13 points in
I
Resto,
don't think I've ever liked a single
Improved
resto
Mark,
druid
Healing
that ever
Touch,
came
and then just
through
down
me.
into Reflection. And then I have everything else. This is like full raid build. This is not an ideal PvP build at all.
Yeah.
But we have Improved Thorns. Everything else is kind of like cookie cutter. You kind of have to have all these other talents. But Improved Thorns,
all
where
I'm-
I would usually, I'd probably
all I'm
have
trying to say
Nature's
is-
Grasp.
We gave one hit quit a Locomere.
I don't want to
And I-
talk about it.
You won one
Oh, yeah,
Locomere and quit, right? He was never an LE.
Improved Thorns. Hold on, let me turn them down a little
No,
bit.
he
Out loud.
immediately, the second he got Locomere, he quit and started ranking up. I did a couple of pre-mates with him when I was
Improved
ranking up,
Thorns. Yeah, I have him. So
and I'm just staring at him. I whisper.
the last time I
like,
respect was
"Ah,
probably like 2 months ago or something like that. And at the time, we didn't consistently have a
Those fucking
druid
resto
like
clowns
healer.
that put spell power on their Locomers. How about those guys, huh?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, that dude, that Centurion who's trying to rank up in PvP. Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, I went Improved Thorns and Improved Mark of the Wild with this spec,
Losing
just
5
because
healing
we
power,
didn't
oh,
have.
no.
I was the only druid, and we
But
didn't have a
people that
resto
enjoy
druid
classic
coming
PvP.
consistently. So I wanted to make sure we had the buffs if we needed
What
them.
rank you at now, Outback?
And I haven't been like PvPing
Rank
much, you
9
know.
with Abandon.
But I'm gonna go the feral charge build here pretty soon, but I just don't want to do it prior to
And to whoever said the
AQ,
other
'cause I'm gonna
thing,
have to
all I will
respec,
say is,
you know what I
for
mean?
Classic PvP, there's nothing more fun
than just.
We'll see. I was
seeing
actually
someone
having a lot of
thinking
fun
that they can get away and hit 'em
with
a 2,000
the
chain.
basically you would put these 3 points into Nature's Grasp and then 2 points into Improved Nature's Grasp. Right, and you keep this, or sorry, you put 1 point into Nature's Grasp and then 1 point into Improved, and then I'd run Insect Swarm, and then I would take Furor instead of Mark of the Wild, and like that setup, I was actually having a lot of fun with PvP. It's not as effective in my opinion as like the Feral Charge Moonkin spec, but
What guild was
it ends up being like a really good kind of meet in the middle. But you have to make sure you don't need Improved Thorns or Improved Mark of the Wild for your raid. But that was my, like, if I was gonna go something that I would raid with and PvP with, that would be the spec that I would try and run. Instant Bash, yeah, exactly. The Furor is just so good for PvP, and it's really good because like, so I have a macro where I shift into Cat and Stealth right away. So if you're ever opening, the instant energy is also very important because it lets you instantly pounce. Otherwise you have to wait like, 3 seconds or 5 seconds or however long it is to get 2 energy ticks. So everyone knows about like the instant bash thing, but like, see, if I switch into Cat right here, I'm invisible 20 40, now I can pounce, right? Like you have like this delay to like actually use your ability. So it also has really good implications if you're trying to open up on someone with Cat. But we'll see. I might swap to that because like if we end up keeping, if these 2 druids stay raiding with us, which would be great, and I don't have to worry about having Mark of the Wild or whatever. I thought you hate Insect Swarm. I'm not a fan of Insect Swarm, but it is very good in PvP. I don't like it more than I like Feral Charge in PvP, but if I'm raiding, you have to go far enough into Resto to get Reflection, in my opinion. I mean, until you have stuff on farm. Once you get stuff on farm, then it's different, right? Because like right now I could be basically any spec, it doesn't really matter. But I don't know with AQ how tough mana is going to be on some of these fights, so for that reason I feel like I need to have Reflection specifically. So if you're going to go down here, it's worth the 1 point for Insect Swarm for PvP situations. But in an ideal world, I would be able to, like, fights would last so fast, like be so short that I could just go and get Feral Charge and not have to put any points in Resto outside of Furor. We'll see though. Once we can get a couple weeks of AQ down and have a better feel for it, I might respec, because I'm not worried about any of the other content. The only thing would be like Neff potentially, but like even still with that, like I can downrank, 5 or 6 more casts, or probably even less than that, honestly, and probably make up for the Reflection talent. It wouldn't be like a massive loss in DPS. You could work around it now even too, but I just am trying to optimize as much as I can for the progression stuff coming out. I will say Insect Swarm does actually hit, like once you start getting gear, how hard Insect Swarm dot ticks, like in conjunction with having Moonfire dot, is pretty impressive. It's a lot of damage.
Can we get a distract on the boss?
Mine was on cooldown.
We'll see. I might have to DPS this one out of
rogue, you gotta take Blessed out of your group.
out of Moonkin form. You just call him Blessed.
Well, no.
Alright guys, get ready to pull here. Gotta wait now. Start from again.
Posture check. Posture check.
We'll wait till he comes back. Blessing and Nut notice when it blows up the side instead. Alright, Dry on Skull, Hungry on X. I'll take Star. Let's group them up tight.
Very violent.
Get ready to do your rank 1 Purge or Dispel. Alright, getting ready to pull. Matt, can you actually go ahead and hit him? Pull him back towards us. Or Austin, that works too. Back him just a little tighter. Spell and towel.
I'm gonna decurse myself here just because I don't think I'm gonna get a decurse otherwise. I'm just gonna stay out of Moonkin form.
Curse and a decurse.
Oh, my backstab cost 200.
Damn.
Mr. Chungus.
Damn.
Oh,
One,
let's fucking go!
one resist, one partial resist.
And I couldn't backstab the whole fight!
Choker.
I don't want to say it, but you did top with.
I couldn't even fucking backstab!
Sounds like a player issue.
They're competing
I feel
for.
like you can't come into raid.
They're competing for Wind Fury
Yeah,
totem
I
groups.
backstabbed like 4 times, and then I got the debuff.
Are you gonna claim to be prepared for raid if you don't have a restoration pot?
No, but I was too fat.
Let's get ready to pull, guys.
Can you guys do this trick where you jump and then you have to? Oh, I didn't do it.
Joker made spec.
Are you like flap, little flappy boy?
Oh,
Hot damn.
you are.
Getting hot fire.
No one else is gonna roll again.
It's a pretty decent like PvP neck.
I asserted my dominance over that Joker. Ethan, he has one. Don't give it to him.
Are you a
I'll
choker
delete
in
it.
gold, Pilar?
Did you like his offer to?
Alright, never mind. It goes to Quan.
It's from my flash.
Last set.
Oh,
Last
yeah.
set right there, yeah.
It's
Last
about as main
Pariah.
spec as it gets.
Main raider Prio though, so.
Do you guys know exactly what it is that triggers the
It's actually
fire resistance buff, the ribbon dance?
wiggles.
Because I swear I ran like 45 circles around that little like flagpole thing and I didn't get the buff. I feel like I'm doing it wrong somehow.
All AoE taunt first, Jiraiya.
Oh, he's pulling both of them at the same time.
Okay, taunting now. Okay, go ahead and use yours. Nice. Grabbing circle.
I risked an AoE taunt in a grand circle. And didn't say anything, and I'm Fury, so I died like an idiot.
You just call it out next time. Healers might not even be able to keep you up. I believe in them. They keep me alive through some crazy shit sometimes. Get Tal up and get ready to go.
Come on, combat. Let's go. Let us drink.
We were missing a few buffs. Let's get these out real quick.
2 or more people got to click the poll. Oh, it's like a group thing. I was clicking the poll earlier and I was just running in circles by myself, right? It wasn't doing anything. Then someone else ran up, clicked the poll, got the buff instantly, and then ran away. So now I feel like that person's a jerk because they just left me hanging. I didn't know it was like a group effort. I think I'm gonna go ahead and rock the ZG combo here.
I lied. Alright, let's get ready, guys. Getting ready to pull in 5.
We have our
Fuo, Trin, Icor, Isabel, and
Okay, fingers crossed for no partial resists, or not a lot of partial resists. Can we get a crit? Give me just one, baby. Come on. Gotten 0 crits. Great. 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 Partial resist. Great. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? We got our first crit at 19% health. Did I only get 1 crit this whole time? Are you serious?
Good job, guys.
I got 1 crit that whole fight. Dude, I have a 26% chance to crit. Someone get this? Yeah. 26% chance to crit. We crit 1. 1 out of 19 casts. What the hell?
Spectrum ASP.
Are you kidding me? I just got like 7 times that many crits. Oh, goodness. You love to see it. Oh, my goodness. That hurts my heart, dude. Sometimes people will AFK there so others can buff. That makes sense on the ribbon dance. I was like sitting there and I'm like there was one time I ran up and I just ran like 1 circle and I got the buff. I was like, oh, okay, so you just gotta like run 1 circle. And then I went up this time and I ran a circle. I'm like, okay, didn't work. And I like just kept running in circles. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't realize there was like a group mechanic. Maybe to a big fat bird running around the pole 45 times. Literally, that's what I was doing, dude. I was trying, like, okay, I'm already here. I already got the little crit buff. Let's figure out. Let's get that little fire resist buff. I couldn't figure it out. Like, all right, I'm over this.
It's sweet on enhanced shamans.
Careful, guys. Although we normally do not move across till we have everyone down here. We need everyone to move across at once. Okay.
Mage to your legs.
Are the live logs working? Let's see. Oh, they're not up on mine. Bloodvine set in phase 5, or you may swap. So I don't think gear is going to be good enough in phase 5 by itself, but I do think it will make more sense in phase 6 once you get to Nax and you have some Nax gear. Basically what ends up happening is you're going to end up losing a good chunk of hit off of those pieces, but you end up gaining a lot of stats and you gain actual like spell damage. So from like an overall DPS perspective, you actually don't, it's not like you lose anything. I think it's arguably even a little bit higher, but you have less hit. So it'll be interesting. I don't honestly know exactly what I'm going to do gear wise come phase 5, because a huge part of gearing is dependent on what you actually can get access to, right? And like how contested certain gear is going to be for you and your guild. Like maybe all of your mages and all of your warlocks all want tier 3, right? What's my spell damage at now? With this setup, all we have is greater arcane elixir on right now. I'm at 508, 11% hit. We're at just under 26% chance to crit, but I do have the Firefest, and we have 13% from world buffs. And then I have ZG buffs, so we have a little bit extra stamina right now. But like in Nax, so this is like Bis Forever. This is like this set that I put together, which it's not necessarily better than other items you can get, but it's on par with, right? So it's kind of a wash. Like, say the overall DPS value of a specific item is, you know, 25 DPS, and then this other item is also 25 DPS, but it's just the stat weights are different. So examples of this are the Preceptor's Hat versus like Mishundare. Mishundare arguably is going to DPS a little bit higher because I think it doesn't have quite enough spell power on it. But for example, if you're not able to get Mish, I would think this hat's going to be relatively uncontested. Maybe like Shadow Priests are going to want it. These are like very obviously Bis. Another good example though is something like this, right? Crystal Webbed Robe. This has a ton of damage. It doesn't have hit, but it's got a ton of damage, and then it also has 25 stam, 19 int, right? So it's just got a ton of stats. So I could see potentially when we get into later phases, full Bloodvine is going to be great, but your DPS is going to be irrelevant if you run out of mana or you die. So I think there might be situations, especially when it comes to progression and maybe some specific fights in Nax, where you're going to have to wear something that's not going to have as much hit, but it's still going to have comparable DPS, but it's going to have more stats on it so that you have just a higher health pool and a higher mana pool to make sure that you can last the fights. I mean, like, look at Bloodvine. It's like got no stats. We have 13 int and that's it, no stam. 6 intellect, that's it, no stam. 16 intellect, no stam. Like, it's so light on stats and makes you so squishy by using it that even though some of this stuff might not be as ideal, it's like you have to survive, right? So depending on like raid mechanics, even in AQ, right? There's a chance I kind of swap some gear around in AQ just because of survivability purposes, you know. It's gonna be different with different guilds because if your guild's very like fast speedrun wise or like, you know, super hardcore and you're able to kill stuff really quickly, then it's less of an issue, obviously. But we're relatively casual guilds, so I could see that being an issue. Not an issue, but like I'm gonna have to itemize. I'm gonna have to itemize for what's gonna take to actually kill and survive the boss fights more so than what's gonna be the highest DPS output. Have you ever thought of adding a second damage meter where you can always see your own DPS? Yes, I have, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. Like, have you seen S-Van's setup that he has? He has like his damage meter like right next to like on top of the other one, and I kept trying to do it where it was only showing my DPS and I couldn't figure it out. If you know how to do it, tell me. I'm all about trying to set that up. I would love to do that. I'd throw it right here. I couldn't get it figured out when I tried to mess with it. Oh, nice. That was us. We got some elemental fires. Huh. But we'll see, like this setup that I had of gear, like I would probably run this just because it just would feel so much nicer. Like the hit would be great, but I would love to have a lot more stats. Like,
you know all the gear's gonna drop.
the difference of getting ZG buff versus not is super noticeable, just from like how beefy you are health wise, how big your mana pool is. Like, it's super noticeable, and that's the kind of difference that you're talking about. And it'll even scale even harder with world buffs. So like, I feel like when you're on farm content, it's gonna be even better.
Tier.
Next week is Darkmoon Fair, right?
Yes.
Goldshire.
What's up, Ribsy? How you doing, man? Welcome back. Welcome back. What's up, Sven? Send it. Big send. Yeah, I've set it up exactly like that myself on another character. I can't remember how to do it though. Yeah, I tried messing with the damage meters and I just couldn't get it to work. Being on Alliance is like having ZG buff all the time. I know, dude. Blessing of Kings. That's got to be pretty crazy, right? Because that has to scale with ZG buff too. So you end up like, if you were in my equivalent gear, you also have Kings. You have like 7k mana with ZG buff. Is that how it works? It's like kind of they multiply against each other. That's so insane though. Oh, I can't imagine. And then like having salve, so you like never have threat issues. Should we re-roll Alliance?
Warrior boots off spec.
I guess I wanted those.
The big 98. I don't think anyone has Flask of the Titans. I'm still salty my friends rolled Horde. Dude, I mean, it would have been a toss-up. I had some friends that definitely were wanting to roll Alliance at the beginning of Classic. I was very against it though. I was also not initially planning on playing a balanced Druid.
Pull him away from the
But
dead guy.
I don't know, man. I would have had a hard time getting convinced to play Alliance because I just never play. I've played Alliance. I've never played Alliance as like my main faction over Horde in like any expansion. I've had times where I have played it some, but I don't know, man. It's hard because I've just always played Horde, so it's like
Yeah, should have had you
the nostalgia factor and all that stuff doesn't exist for me the same way on Alliance side. You know what I mean?
Fire blossoms.
But had I like, if I thought I was gonna play Druid initially, I think I would have pushed for Alliance because of having Blessing of Kings. If I like knew all that stuff now for raiding. Warstomp's amazing in PvP though. Jesus Christ, dude. Fireball did half my health. Can we top the damage meters right here, boys? Can we top the meters right here? Getting lucky with the big crits. Oh my gosh. He died too fast. Let's do it on these next packs. I'm going to start using Moonfire. I got shunned from using Moonfire, so it's like scarred me for life that now I'm always scared to use Moonfire. But we're just going to YOLO it, you know?
Want me to distract?
I think
That's exactly why I would have played Alliance in Classic. I mean,
stack up here.
I have friends that do play Alliance side. If I had infinite time, I would also have an Alliance Druid and we would be playing both.
Strat where if you get the bomb, you run over to where
But the reality is I don't have that much time.
You pull up right here. We all stack where the circle is now. You get the bomb, come over to the square. Yep.
Chad Horde versus Virgin Alley. Yeah, all the paladin buffs are so strong, I know. Moonfire's Abyss.
Can I get a hunter to come up here and pull for me?
Should we,
Thank you.
I feel like I'm gonna go out of mana this fight. Should we Moonfire?
You're fucking mad, man.
I bet Sabbath probably has a stream open. I was gonna come up with some plot to Moonfire without telling him. We're gonna do it. Let's Moonfire the rest of the raid and see how we do numbers wise.
Lay out.
There it is.
Stay out.
Damn, we gotta
No, heal
resist.
me. Oh no!
Oh, can we get one more crit? Snapshot? I don't think that's snapshot. I don't know.
Melee out. Carolino, get out.
Bold.
Oh my gosh, the resist. It's killing me.
Alright, Melee, we're
One
staying
more,
there.
one more, one more. Ah, resisted too. Not that bad though, 417 DPS.
Oh, Toab.
Did we really get a toe
Oh,
up?
toe up.
God
Wow,
damn it.
dude, big toe up.
Yeah,
We
Cormac.
stayed in.
You love to see toe up, dude. Huge deeps. We got 7th. That's not bad. 416.
Congrats,
point.
Cormac.
Grats, grats.
We're gonna do Shaz first. Let's get Lupul up though.
Red, don't tell on me. Let's see if Ryan notices. We haven't seen one of those in months. We actually haven't seen Taupe in a while either, actually. It's been a minute since we've seen one. I was looking at one of the top rated or top parsing druids, and their fights are super short, but he definitely has a slot for Moonfire that he's allowed. Can we get it off in time? Let's go. Snapshot that. Let's go. Big deeps.
Careful, that body's still active. Okay, it just died.
Damn, I want to roll Moonkin now. At the moment, I'm hybrid balance resto. What spec you like? Moonglow spec?
Ethan, is that you trying to take credit for the toe up?
What?
Going right?
Yeah, we might spec to. Hopefully, these resto druids are gonna hang out for AQ. Because if they are, then I'm gonna respec here pretty soon. That way we can do some more. We have some more PvP fun. It looks like I have Nature's Grasp right here on my cooldown, so it's just a weak aura. So it sucks not having that ability. Straight up. It feels really bad PvPing. Like if you start PvPing and you get used to having it, and then you take it off your talents. It sucks. Feels like you're just like playing at a handicap the whole time. What's up, Brian? Why do you when do you use Wrath in your rotation? And what flask do you recommend is Boomkin rating? Well, DPS flask for sure is Flask of Supreme Power. The only reason you would ever, like, I don't ever plan on using Flask of Distilled Wisdom. I think 100% of the time you want to use Flask of Supreme Power. And if you're having mana issues, you just downrank. It'll overall be more DPS. When I use Wrath, so I generally use Wrath to bait out a Nature's Grace proc is really all I do it. Or timing wise, to make sure I don't pull threat. So you'll see a lot of pulls I'll initiate with Wrath. This fight I actually use Wrath all the time though, because Shaz has like a really high arcane resistance for some reason. So I use Wrath on this fight, but this is the only like PvE fight outside of Chromagus with nature vulnerability or anything like that. But I use it on as like an opener kind of, because it has travel time and it's a quick cast, so you can get lucky and get a Nature's Grace proc off of it in your opener. So like in an ideal world, if you're allowed a Moonfire, that was kind of good. We didn't get really any resist. 315 DPS, not bad. But I'll show you here on some of this like trash that we're about to do. You basically open with Wrath into Moonfire in the opener.
Wait,
that way you have 2 chances of getting a crit off of each of those spells. Moonfire is your second cast. Since Moonfire is instant, it will not consume Nature's Grace if your Wrath is the ability that casts. So you have 2 chances, basically 2 spells in the opener to get a crit, which then makes your first Starfire half second faster. If you're able to ensure that every Nature's Grace proc is the following cast is Starfire, that's like by far the biggest DPS gain, because it doesn't actually technically make you do more damage if it happens for Wrath. So like this, I'll open Wrath, Moonfire. We did get a crit on our Moonfire. We actually got a crit on both, but that's your biggest opener right there as far as like what's actually going to squeeze in the most damage. And then you'll see I'll tab Moonfire during like this on multiple targets. So I'll have Moonfire on different targets, but you use that global cooldown basically of casting Moonfire to then like tab to another target. I don't know if that makes sense the way I'm explaining that.
You asked me to do it, but I couldn't respect that.
Insect Swarm, do you ever use it? No, you don't ever use it. Not in raids. Because Insect Swarm is the most mana efficient DPS that we have. It is not the highest DPS in any situation.
Everybody rejoice.
So it's by far, it scales amazing with bonus spell power. It's incredibly mana efficient. So from a mana efficiency standpoint, it is our most mana efficient spell. But it is our lowest like damage per cast. So you don't really want to use it. You could argue it on like nature vulnerability targets, but you have to shift out of Moonkin form. It's not worth the mana of shifting. And honestly, it's not even really worth the globals, because Wrath will give you more value from a DPS perspective on nature vulnerability if you just spam Wrath. Especially if you're accounting for like the fact that Wrath will have a 3% higher chance to crit. The other thing that's a big deal, same with Moonfire, is if you have world buffs, right, and you have a huge amount of crit, a huge chunk of Moonfire's damage and Insect Swarm don't value from crit, right, because the dot can't actually crit. So if you have no world buffs, it's a little bit different. I would say like your DPS is going to be more comparable between all those things. But when you have crit, only a percentage, like, 25% of Moonfire's damage is able to crit. Insect Swarm, 0% of its damage is able to crit. You can't use it in Moonkin form. No, Sven, you can't use Insect Swarm in Moonkin form in Classic. That's like that happened in TBC. So you have to shift out, and you have to either give up Moonkin Aura and Moonkin form, or you have to waste a global shifting back in. You don't have to waste a global shifting out. You can like exit form and cast Insect Swarm at the same time, but then you have to waste another global to shift back into Moonkin form. I don't mean to ask so many questions. No, man. Ask all the questions you got. No worries. That's why the main reason I started streaming was to ask questions rather than having to try and type all this stuff out in comments and stuff on videos. Also, you should check out Brian. I don't know if you're in the Moon Kings Discord, but that's also an amazing resource. There's a bunch of people in there that are everyone's super super helpful. It's turned into like a really awesome little community of everyone being all stoked on getting Moon King gear and stuff. I sometimes use it on Chromagus. I'm gonna have to go out and in for a second. Oh, Insect Swarm. Yeah. It has very like niche situations. Chromagus. You definitely have times you could use it.
Which chunks doing that?
But yeah, generally speaking, I don't like I don't like Insect Swarm. I do like it in PvP.
Perfect.
I don't know why why did we beat stop?
On the pole initially, you might need to use some defensives just to kind of even out some of the damage.
Yeah. I'll heal Sabbath. All the other non-shamans focus on keeping hungry.
Moon Kings? Yeah, there should. Brian, is there not a link down below that has like a Discord link? It should be down like in the description.
Right, get ready to run in there.
That's the Moon Kings Discord. And it's all just people from Twitch and from YouTube and stuff. So it's just a bunch of balanced druids, and it's like just an area that you guys can talk and like ask questions and stuff. And there's a bunch of very, very, like, Rivsy's over on Twitch right now, so you can't see what he's saying, but Rivsy's very active in that chat. There's a bunch of people really active in that chat that are very, very, very good players. What server do I play on? I play on, this is Herod Horde side, obviously.
Just take the ads out of the raid. I can hold on to triangle here or star. Never mind, you got it.
Also semi-useful to test nature vulnerabilities without pulling a 5k wrath. Yeah, that's true. Do you use that weak aura, Rivsy? Do you not have the detect magic weak aura?
Brew Blade.
Yeah, boy.
Should work in Moonkin form, I know.
Right. When they start getting low, I'll start pulling them out here. I'm gonna grab star.
They figured that out after the fact, right? I mean, they made it like, dude, TBC is gonna be a blast. Like TBC is gonna be so fun because they made the vast majority.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
They made the majority of like all the changes, quality of life changes happen into TBC. Wow, dude, this is a big drop. So we actually have a hunter that's soft res the hunter helm for like 15 weeks. It just never drops. This is his 8-piece of tier 1, which is actually amazing for hunters. And then brutality blade, damn, dude, we're getting some good drops, and we got Toeb. Pretty solid molten core so far. But yeah, we get a vast majority of. There's Rivsy hopping over to YouTube. What's your hit for Moonkin? Right now I'm at 11%. This is our stats right now in this gear. We're at 11% hit. We're now at 22% crit with world buffs. Oh, we're gonna be done with another 10% lower here pretty soon. I'm at 508 spell power. The big thing, honestly, like the biggest upgrade for sure out of BWL is tier. If you can get tier, because that's another 2% hit. And that's our only slot outside of Angelisa's Grasp where you can pick up 2% hit and you actually lose a bunch of damage by doing that. It's not really a DPS gain. So tier, if we can get tier.
Fortunately for all you schmucks,
if we can get tier, that's the go-to. But ZG rings are a really, really good hit option because you get 3% from having the set. So this is actually a really, really strong DPS combo. It's not BIS, but it's very, very close, and this is the highest amount of hit you can currently get from your ring slots. And then if you also had tier, that's 5% right there. Right. Cloak of Consumption is another big one.
Okay, my
Blood Tinged Gloves is another big one. You can also pick up the Bloodvine Goggles. I keep these in my bag because I never use them. But these are actually very good. Supposedly, Bloodvine Goggles and Hexer's Cover sim almost identically. they're just different. This is hit and crit, and this is spell damage. So it's kind of like just one of those preference things. Definitely could be, make sense to run blood tinge goggles if we're like fully world buffed to get a little bit closer to hit cap. Might be worthwhile.
Oh, gotcha.
But yes, that should go to Matt.
Innervate and insect swarm and
Awesome.
moonkin form.
8 set, let's go.
Yeah, and we get spell hit talents. I know,
Yeah.
dude. TBC's nuts.
Alright, I'm gonna pull this back.
Tear and Mish. Mish is not as big of a deal for me. I would like to get Mish, but the fact that there's other stuff later in the game and later phases, I'm okay with. Like, I'm fine with not getting that. Tier is another thing though. Like, tier is massive. 2% hit for us is insane from just a quality of life standpoint. It makes us from like having to itemize gear. It takes like a huge weight off of your shoulders of needing to prioritize hit in situations because you're only able to get like 10%. So
I gotta finally wear my Edge Masters again. That'll be so much fun, dude.
I don't know.
I fucking buy those things for however much money, and then I get these daggers. I have to put these things back in the bank. Now they come back out. Hell yeah.
I know, dude. I'm still missing a lot.
Do not pull that extra pack over there.
Amulet of Vecnalash.
Real quick,
Is that a hit neck?
Hound to come back.
I'm so ready to outroll you for tier.
I'm gonna grab the core hound when he comes.
If I lose this next tier, I'm gonna be real bummed. I've told you guys, I've said this a few times, but our next tier is basically just between me and 2 of the warlocks. So I have a 1 in 3 chance on our next tier that drops of getting it. But then after that, it's open to everyone. So
That's what Nickus at Night is all about.
we just need one more tier to drop, and we need to get lucky on those rolls.
That's why he's letting me tank.
Yeah, from Twins. I'll have to check it out. Let's see. Oh, I did AQ. Where is this? This offhand is good. Are you trolling me over there? Oh, this. Oh, yeah. This is... Oh, it's crit, though. It's not hit. It's crit with spells.
Grabbing the Annihilator.
This is really good, though. I mean... We have Choker the Fire Lord. That crit neck, I think, technically yields a little more DPS. We'll see. I would really like to, like, this next phase coming out, there's a lot of crit pieces that become available. And so... I would be inclined to try and stacking a few of those pieces if we can get up to like 15 or 20% crit. It's more worthwhile, you know. Hey man, found your stream via YouTube videos. Question: what is the add-on where it shows the icons of the spells that you cast? This is called Trufi. Trufi.
Alright, gonna pull them back across.
Macarios. I don't know if that's how you say your name, but it's called Trufi. Trufigcd. Oops, not that. I'll show you here.
I mean, they're dropping
This one.
flies ever since.
Trufigcd.
Need 'em anymore.
Honestly, so I've used Trufi. I started using it in like Legion or BFA, and
For me to not be here.
anyone that like makes content or posts videos, I wish that they would use that, because especially when you have classes that have a lot of instant casts, if you're trying to learn about that class, it's like almost impossible to figure out what the hell people are casting. Oh shit.
You were the chosen one, Ryan!
Like, for example, I've been playing some retail, I've been looking up like Demon Hunter stuff, and it's like I can't even figure out what people are doing. You know what I mean? Like I can't like all right, like a bunch of stuff is happening. I have literally no idea what buttons he's pushing at all. Like until you like, especially when you're new to the class, you don't really know what's going on. And I'm like, God, just please use this add-on so I can watch what your rotation is and stuff. One more question. What spec do you prefer? What do you mean? Like of every Druid spec? Like if I could play any Druid spec, what would I play?
No, not this week.
Is that what you mean, Brian? I definitely prefer balance of all the specs. I actually have played. I leveled his I leveled his feral. I did Heart of the Wild NS spec so that we could kind of heal or tank dungeons, just because that way I could spam dungeons like non-stop because I always was able to get a group. And so that spec is actually very, very fun if you're going to be doing multiple roles, because you can do all of them like 85-90% of the way. Like you can get very close to like performing as like good as possible with that spec, assuming you have good gear. And it really allows you to play Druid like a Druid, where you can literally just do everything. That's a fun spec for sure, especially early on when you need that versatility. I've played Resto, but I played like Moonglow Resto. I haven't played full Resto. Like I have never spec'd into Swiftmend so far in Classic. And I like Resto a lot. I would say I like Balance the most, and then I like Resto second, and then I like Feral. Like I would say Tank and Cat are probably very similar. Probably like in order. Balance is just so fun, man. I've kind of always played casters or like range DPS for the most part, or healers. Like I've always been like kind of like played ranged roles, and something about balance and like Starfire is a long cast, but this like high risk, high reward, where like it's hard to always get it off, but it hits really hard when it does hit. And the fact that it can crit so hard, and that you can combine that burst with Moonfire, and like you have both of those spells hitting at the same time, like in PvP situations where like non-crit right there, you're like just hitting for 1500. I don't know. It's pretty satisfying. Like I played my Elemental Shaman, or I played my Shaman, I spec'd him Elemental, did some ZG. And I just felt like, I mean, obviously this character has like way more gear, but I just felt like I was like flinging wet noodles at the bosses and stuff, you know?
Somebody rending.
I don't know about rend.
I'll have rend for AQ.
What's up, Riley? Close your music with the follow. Thanks, homie. Thank you.
Fucking Nickus, that was amazing.
But yeah, I think when we get this next phase, I'm actually really hyped for from like a gear perspective. I think balance is gonna be insanely fun with tier 2.5. The big pew pews in the chat. Did he give you a gifted sub, or are you trolling me? I don't have anything that says Sabbath gave a gifted sub. He did? Oh, big thanks, Sabbath. What a sweet guy. Yeah, Brian, here are my talents I'm running right now. This is like a full, if you're playing raid, if you don't PvP, if you're playing raid, it popped up on stream. Oh, it showed me that was a follow. Dude, my alerts like bug out half the time.
So for tanks,
let me fix this.
here. Let's have
See, it hit me with, that's what it showed on my thing.
so let's just have everyone
Might be.
DPS that's not a tank.
Thanks for the gifted sub, Sabbath.
Again. Just be careful on
So this is like, if Brian, if you're playing full like raid PvE spec, you put 13 points in resto just like this. So you have improved Mark of the Wild and you have reflection. Improved healing touch isn't important unless you're like stuck off healing, but that's the best option PvE wise. And then every talent in this balance setup is very normal, with the exception of improved thorns. You have these 3 points you can kind of move around anywhere, but improved thorns is important if you don't have it in the raid. But you basically just fill out the entire like balance tree. Don't take Omen of Clarity. This section isn't good. Nature's Grasp is amazing for PvP, but useless in PvE stuff. And Entangling Roots is useless for PvE stuff as well. There's actually some decent leather pieces off of AQ2 and Spell Power. Yeah, there's some really good gloves, I think, aren't there? There are a couple pieces that are actually really good.
Let's get those interrupts out. The cast on the heals is actually a lot shorter than what the cast bar shows. Make sure you get it out immediately.
What's loophole again?
I think I put you on X.
Yes, you did.
Blast on Skull, Loople on X, Choco on Triangle, and Snaky on Star. Alright, let's go ahead and use this for Rage. Fountain resisted tanks, to make sure we were rotating comps here. This isn't going anyone else.
Save some mana.
Alright, start bringing it up. Ready to move on to the boss. Oh shit, I'm down. Sorry guys, I should have popped a defense with it early. Thank you, Sarah. You're coming, let's interrupt, guys.
There are only 69 leather items with spell power on them in the whole of vanilla. It's only 69 of them. That's like good luck, isn't it? Rivsy, how do you know that?
I'm back though.
I'm back though.
He only had to like pee like 7 gallons.
Looked it up on Wowhead.
I think I went to the wrong one.
No, I believe you. I'm not saying it's a joke. I think you're being serious. That's super funny though. What downranks do I personally use? The one that I mainly use all the time downrank wise is rank 1 Starfire. You guys can't see it. It's off the screen. Here, let me show you. I'll pull this up. Do widescreen real quick. I have bars on the side of my screen that you guys can't see usually because my monitor is like scaled. Oh wait, hold on, that's all messed up. Let me see.
I thought I saw someone dose, yeah.
I might have messed it up. Ah, damn it, sorry. It's not working.
Confirm raid chat.
It's not working, but I have some other abilities, potions, things like that on my sidebar here. And really I only use rank 1 Starfire because the two things that predicate whether you get like a diminished spell power coefficient on spells is if it's something that's prior to level 20 that you learned. Like if it's a spell you learn at level 12 or 15, it's going to have a penalty basically on the spell power coefficient. And so it also the cast time, but most of those are usually kind of the two in the same. So rank 1 Starfire you actually learn at level 20, and it's the same cast time as max rank Starfire. So really all you're doing is you're still all your bonus spell power. Say I have 500 bonus spell power. Rank 1 Starfire is going to hit for about 600, like we'll use it right here. It should hit for like 600, 650, right? 642. And it costs 86 mana. So that's why I was saying like Flask of Supreme Power is the best, because if you're having mana issues, you can always just downrank and basically just downrank all the time, but you're still going to gain 150 damage every single cast of Starfire. But rank 1 Starfire is the only one that I really use. I also have, what rank is this?
Okay.
Let me see. There's also, I have a downranked version of Wrath. Let me see. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you what rank it is. Rank 4. Rank 4 Wrath. Which I don't use that often, but I use it out in open world because it hits for like a lesser amount. So if I'm trying to be efficient when I'm farming, like say normal Wrath hits for 500 and rank 4 hits for like 300 or, you know, whatever, 250 or whatever it is, like I'll downrank according so that I'm not like overkilling mobs. Let's pop another
Raya will be on the boss.
greater.
I'll take X, Hungry takes Skull. Can I have Matt, you grab Skull, Wiggles, you grab X, bring him back for us.
But yeah, rank 1 Starfire is amazing. I'm really excited for this next rank of Starfire we're gonna get in AQ. Should be really significant, I'm hoping. But as we get better and better gear,
We got the Annihilator.
damage done by Starfire, there's a higher percentage actually done from your bonus spell power and not the actual base damage of the spell. So basically, downranking, as you get better gear, downranking is a smaller percentage DPS loss. Does that make sense, the way I'm saying that? It's good to have rank 1 Moonfire and Renew 2 for PvP. That's true. From like a debuff perspective, I actually do have. I have rank 1 Moonfire. I don't have. I have rank 1 Moonfire bound. Don't have a downranked Rejuve bound actually. But that is good. If you're PvPing as a Druid in general, having rank 1 of a lot of abilities is really good just from like a dispel perspective. How much damage do you do to arcane Draconoids in BWL? I don't know what that means. Are you saying like if there's like arcane vulnerability on the mobs? I've gotten a 10k Starfire crit on arcane vulnerability. If that's what you're asking. Yeah. 10k. I've hit over 10k on like I had like toe up active and arcane vulnerability, and Starfire hit for 10k. But usually I'd say like more regularly, like Starfire's crit for like 7, 8k, something like that. They hit for like 3 or 4. Dude, another Staff of Dom? We've gotten so many Staff of Doms. Yeah, those are the packs. Yeah. 10k is like my biggest like single number that I've gotten from those packs.
That's a lot of stuff.
It's also kind of like tough because you can't, if it's arcane vulnerability, nature vulnerability, for example, like if your tank has Thunder Fury, it's easier to DPS really hard and not pull aggro. If it's arcane vulnerability, the tank isn't actually gaining any extra bonus from it, so it's pretty easy to rip aggro. So I always end up having to kind of like be pretty cautious with arcane vulnerability unless it's like later on in a fight, or it's like a later mob where the tanks had like a really good head start. You know what I mean? Once you get tier, how are you planning to set up your trinkets, bosses versus trash? If I have tier, I'm gonna basically use toe up in tier 100% of the time. So I've talked about this before. Both of these trinkets are amazing, and they're especially good for balance because the biggest problem with ZHC is that it diminishes with each cast, right? But since our main cast is so slow where we're not getting a ton of quantity of casts off, and it benefits from 100% spell power, you know, coefficient, ZHC is actually still also very good. But Toep is a 1.5 minute cooldown and it lasts for 15 seconds. So it's basically a 1 minute and 15 second cooldown, which is insane. So very regularly I can get 2 Toeps off in a fight. And on trash packs, you basically have it up every single pull. So Toep just feels better to me. I don't know if it's just because I've used it more, but I just personally like Toep. And the other thing is like, if for example, I need to cast Wrath or Moonfire, that kind of hurts if I'm using Zandalari Hero Charm because those are all like a lot of quick casts, right? So it's going to deplete the spell power bonus. Whereas if I have Toep, it doesn't affect it at all, right? It's like however many spells I can fit in that 15-second window. And like it's not going to basically be less effective if I'm not spamming just Starfire. It's going to be equally as effective as a Trinket. But the main reason is the fact that it's such a short cooldown. The fact that it's so the minute and 15 seconds that you don't have this up feels so fast. Like it just always like ready to go.
So, Connor, you're gonna.
And it's just so often that you get 2 of these in one fight, and it's pretty rare that you can get 2 hero charms off in one fight. So in that situation,
For decays, all right.
in one individual on use, Zandalari hero charm should give you actually more damage output.
Not this time.
But if a fight lasts, 2 minutes, and you can only get 1 Zandalari hero charm and 2 Toeps off, Toep is actually going to do significantly more DPS. Zandalari hero charm doesn't pull ahead of Toep by much because of the fact that it reduces in strength each cast. It is technically more, but it's not by like a massive margin. Okay, I'm really what the hell's going on?
Down into position.
Resisted my Moonfire.
Okay, skulls down.
Holy shit, dude.
Move by Moon Cone.
3200 Starfire.
We're gonna go down pretty quickly near each other. If you're ready to pick them up. We got square here. We got square here. Just grab it. Grab it. Whoever's got square. Just keep it down. Sheeps are up. Yep. Grab your target. Go ahead. and
Hopefully that answers your question, Tap. We had a full pull of 4 arcane Vuln mobs today and that didn't even die. We've had that type of stuff happen too, and I'm always so like, I'm probably like too worried about ripping aggro. Like I probably need to be a little more like reckless. But we've had that too, where we get like 3 or 4 nature Vulns or 3 or 4 arcane Vulns, and I'm like, oh my god, like my eyes get all wide. But I'm always like so worried I'm gonna rip aggro. But it's good at least if you have multiple. That's spell reflection right there. It's good at least if you have multiple because you can like spread out your threat, you know?
Juan, do you think he wondered where you were for a month?
Yeah, he's probably glad. He's like, oh fuck, I have a chance. Not anymore.
I feel like he was probably missing his friend. I feel like you guys really bonded over those months.
They're tauntable. I mean, they're definitely, they're tauntable, but there's like the mobs that cause you to like spin in circles, right? Like the tank can't do anything. Like they're stuck spinning.
Yeah.
He has the most armor in MC. He's the one where the 336 applies.
I'll use it.
The other ones are all a little less than him. Maybe one of the ones
You have Annihilator?
Yeah.
It's pretty stupid.
I feel like we just
Oh my
smacked
god.
the multi-boss fights.
Oh, it's my cloak, dude.
No, it's the fireproof cloak, Gus.
I soft res that last week so that I wouldn't get the cool spell power rings. Oh, great. Now everyone's just rolling on it. Great. 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 Thanks, guys. Great. I need to learn my lesson, dude. Every time I say something about being excited about a piece of loot dropping, everyone just rolls against me so I don't get the fucking item.
Ooh, nice. 420.
That's a big roll.
I mean, if you say so.
But they'll go attack someone else anyway.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I've been, so I just basically have recently started using limited vulnerability potions. Like that wasn't something I really was doing at all at the beginning of Classic. So I'm better about it now because I'm kind of getting used to watching my threat, and then if I do, like you can see, like I have target always on, so it's really easy for me to see if I do get aggro.
Not a fan of that.
I don't know. I expect him.
So
to
I'm getting better
open that
about being a
footage.
little more aggressive with my, you know, DPS and my threat.
No, Henry, you can,
But
yes.
I'd always rather do just a little bit less damage and never be like the one that's ripping aggro and causing a wipe.
Can finally see what the backside of.
And there's plenty of times on like those vulnerability ads or Chromagus, things like that, where I've had to like throttle my DPS to be, you know,
in the front.
I'm always kicking
not pull
ass.
aggro.
Then you get to see the
But I get really annoyed when like it's like, you know, fire vulnerability and the mages just go ham and like think the tank's gonna be able to hold aggro in the first 5 seconds of the fight. Like that kind of stuff really annoys me. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to
So
do
what
that
you're
to
saying
the
is
do that to the boys.
you have an infatuation with the rear ends of WoW enemies?
Hell yeah, brother.
It's good to play as if you don't have a lip. I know. I mean that's kind of like my mentality with it too. I don't want
Every
to.
melee DPS
I don't want to
just
rely on
slaps
it
that ass.
unless it's the last like 5 seconds of a fight kind of a thing. Especially on progression stuff too, right? Because you're gonna need the potion cooldown for mana potions.
Very cool.
So this is actually a pretty good upgrade for us. It's a couple more fire resist and it's better stats than the
Alright, Jiraiya, we're gonna have
sorry, let me pull this up so you guys can see. So the reason I wanted this cloak is that the Anixi scale cloak is the current fire resist cloak I have, but it has no int, no spirit, and it's only got 16 fire resist, right?
Here about where the tanks are.
This cloak has
Square.
18 fire resist, and it also has 9 int and 8 spirit on it. And it actually has more stamina too. So outside of needing it for the breath, the fireproof cloak is actually very, very, very good for us.
No, we're good.
Yeah, wax 7
Like
FR
your
on
wings
it,
and
exactly,
fly.
man. We're getting our fire resist set's actually like getting really good because we got the this black ash robe. I still need to get this enchanted, but then we also will have this fireproof cloak now. Like we're getting there. I need to actually commit to farming like those fire resist boots from
Like,
what is it from like from Jed? Not from Jed.
about here is probably good.
Who's the guy after Jed? The dragon guy.
Maocat.
Rend. From Rend.
Alright.
Fire resist boots from
Stay there.
from GIF from Rend right there.
Literally right here.
And then I really should try and farm up the
Literally
bracers, but I think the bracers will probably
right
be the piece I don't really try
On
and
top
get.
of me.
Is there any new fire
Literally.
fire resist crafted gear coming out in these next phases? Yeah, I think Moonkin is tankier than a mage though, assuming
We're good.
that's just going to get squished. And as a tank, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I mean it happens all the time. It happens on Chromagus, I feel like the most, but
Sure you have your fire resist stuff on.
we'll get like a frost vulnerability or like a shadow vulnerability. It happens all the time with our warlocks. Get a shadow vulnerability in the first like. Oh wait, let's swap someone.
I'm gonna move Nikus to our group. Nikus, you're gonna drop fire resist for the tanks. Thank you.
And we get shadow vulnerability, and the warlocks just can't resist casting shadow bolts over and over again. Like they just have to. And then they rip aggro, and then Chromagus like runs at us, and then it's all like scuffed, and then.
Timer like accurate now? Did we verify
I
that?
think so. It is very accurate for me.
But so like that to me is a bigger deal, especially like if you're playing an off-meta spec, right? You're playing something like Balance Druid.
No, mine probably still
You
does.
can't be a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? Like you can't be the one like just frivolously pulling threat and shit like that. Like I feel like you're already kind of under scrutiny. Like people are quick to already like give you shit.
Can't wait to give Zoomer some
So you can't give people a reason to give you shit, you know? So it's like I feel like playing that a little more like aware and like on the safe side is in your benefit, you know?
So cool.
Alright, give Dry a second. Give Dry a second.
Oh, I think we're doing ZG after this, guys.
Okay, coming in white hit.
I'm actually kind of excited about that. We haven't done ZG in a few weeks. I like spammed that shit like crazy, and then I got kind of over it. I think we'll get some Chicken Boy ZG in here maybe tonight.
Okay. Watch your damage, watch your damage.
Nice.
advantage and lip.
Melee out, melee out, melee out. Melee in.
I want a Moonfire. Should we Moonfire? I think I'll definitely go out of mana though. We have like 10 debuff slots. You guys see how many debuff slots there are? Oh!
Melee out, melee out.
Oh!
melee out.
No! God!
Stay
Shit.
out, stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out.
I literally was about to click my healing potion. Regrowth wasn't gonna get off in time there. There's no way, I don't think I could have lived that without a potion. Don't give the raid a reason to question your raid spot. Hybrid mentality, exactly. I mean, you always want to be,
Melee out, melee out.
you
melee
always
out,
want to
melee
raid and
out.
not be a pain in the ass, you know, either way.
Stay out
But I
until
feel
call
like
it,
it's
stay
even
out.
more so if you're playing something that's like off meta, some kind of hybrid or whatever,
Careful, tanks got
because
swapped,
you're
tanks got
already,
swapped.
Heals on
your
seven
like
now.
Heals on seven.
value quote unquote to the raid is already not as quantifiable because a lot of your value is in like utility and stuff like that,
Back
as
into
opposed to
position
just
now.
raw DPS or like raw numbers. So you don't want to expect, oh yeah, we have that Moonkin that does, you know, less damage than the warriors
Melee out,
and
melee out, melee
also
out.
rips aggro every time there's arcane vulnerability. Chickens can fly. Not for very long, dude. We flew right into the
Stop,
lava.
stop, stop. Let your eye get some
I
threat, let
hate,
your eye
dude,
get some
if
threat.
why was he even next to me?
Wait hits.
Why is Obek even standing there to knock me over into the lava?
Okay. Should be okay. Watch your execute crits though.
Like, I should have just stood like right here. I was standing right here because this is literally the same spot I always
Get
stand,
it, Rad.
not thinking that he's standing over here for some fucking reason instead of over against the corner.
Oh, we got a choker. Malice stars.
Aggro is also worse on
It's not
Horde
what you
because
did.
salve. Yeah, I know. Not having salve.
What?
Hey, Chungus,
no,
can
what
you?
dropped?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I found you. Just gotta pour one out for the homies.
Choker the Fire Lord. Oh my god.
Weren't you on Malice stars too? Or did you get that already?
Yeah, he's on Malice Stars. And not
Oh,
on
I've
Trump.
had Malstars forever.
I'm gonna delete you from that then.
Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't even
Congrats
check.
to the Charlino on the choker.
We got another choker though, supposedly. That's good.
Legs.
Dude, getting chokers and like purds, like the high value drops of this, especially these few weeks leading up to AQ, is really solid. Getting everyone all like dialed in. All right, now let's change our fire resist setup here.
Ever see one, Nickus?
Fire resist. Boom. Fireproof cloak. Let's see what this looks like.
Why are there always so many Horde players over here? They just like.
This actually looks pretty cool with our tabard, like a little red boy.
The what?
Oh, they'll just like port to
Shield
Orgrimmar.
Malstars Defender.
I think we're doing
All there.
ZG. Let's see. Are we doing ZG right now?
I think we're gonna do a raid check to see who's interested in doing a CG right now. Wait, when does it reset? Does it reset
Before
before
Tuesday.
It does. Glar, can you do that real quick? I'm setting up the raid for Thursday.
Yeah. Best guess if you are interested in a ZG now.
What if I want the bag?
Great question.
Wait, that's illegal.
Yeah, and I'm locked.
Alright, raid sign up for Thursday is posted. Go sign up now.
Wait, Wummy, you said you really wanted to do ZG.
It just seemed like there were. I'll do it if you guys want, but it seemed like there's a lot of people, so I don't actually. Need
I'm counting 15 green check marks.
Alright, do it again. I'll do it.
Oh, put Obed in that category too.
Like,
I
even
left with
easier,
one.
can you just leave the group if you don't want a ZG?
Should we do a little Moonkin ZG, guys? It's been a minute since we've done Moonkin ZG. Do You guys see how full my bags are? I'm getting like really over. I'm like,
Got it.
let's mail these relic offer keys to someone else.
Okay, the optional ZG is posted as well. Go sign up for Raid Thursday. Go sign up for Raid Thursday.
Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and I'll finish off these relic
You guys
offer
all being
key.
here, especially on a holiday weekend. Nice job on the clear. Let's start holding things in for AQ. Just a reminder, all physical
I don't need
DPS.
this.
If you haven't already, start working on your nature.
Why do I have some of my healing? Do I have my full
Part of
healing
that,
gear
after
on in here?
for next Sunday,
Oh, I
we're
do.
gonna be doing the call and
Dude, our
boss.
healing gear is actually like,
We're expecting
our healing gear is so
much
good
change.
that it makes me kind of want
If you
to
haven't already,
respec
I'm gonna be doing it
Resto.
sometime this week.
We're literally full tier 2,
So if you guys want to join us, let me know. I know a bunch of you guys have
full tier 2, high to the wild. These rings are okay, they're not that exciting. Decent trinkets, we can always throw in like toe up or some shit too if we want. Look mirror, lay the
Alright, guys,
life giver
I'll see
from
y'all.
AV,
Take it easy, man.
and we got choker, right? We got that choker last week, like 689 bonus healing. We have the healing glove enchant that comes out this next phase. I don't have my shoulders enchanted, and I don't have my legs or my helm enchanted with like the Druid
Might need some.
ZG enchant because I always pass on the stupid idols because everyone else always needs them for like actual their main spec stuff. But we'd be well over 700 bonus healing, like 750 actually probably if I have both those enchants. And we're like, I don't know, man. It's like a really solid setup. This would be like if I was playing, if I was gonna main Resto, this would be like a big goal for me to get full tier 2, and we got full tier 2.
Why do we bother asking?
I have so much, dude. We need to get. I need like bigger bags. Can we get bigger
Alright,
than
okay,
18
never mind.
slaughters? Throw on the PvP set. Guys, should we come on the tank shaman? Or should we come on the balance druid? What's the vote? Tank shaman, balance druid.
Right now.
I am.
Can you meet me at the mailbox? If you guys need someone for ZG, I can go, but I might be late because I have to take the dog out. So if you guys go in with less than 20, I can probably tag along. Probably.
I think we have the people for ZG right now.
Okay.
We're gonna be doing the other optional one on Tuesday as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So go sign up for that.
Can't make me.
All I need is some in gold from whoever wants to have the roll.
Alright, it actually looks like we have 21 people in the group right now. Does anyone want to bow out? No, we can just roll for it or something.
Can we duel for it?
I like that idea, dude. Duel
I'll
for
be in
the.
the tournament.
I'll take
Let's just
team here.
I'll take you on that duel.
You sure, Wump?
No problem.
Okay. Thanks, my dude. Nice job tonight. Let's get ready for Thursday as well. Thursday's gonna be big with the Dark Moonfire buff.
Oh shit, that's the other thing we gotta do, guys. We gotta go and get tribute buffs tonight. We gotta get tribute buffs, and we gotta get our other buff. Fire Festival buffs. Oh yeah, there's a soft res.
I can edit it, Claire. Hold on.
Okay, I have a copy if we just want. I wasn't sure if I didn't want to mess with the master.
I'm just gonna change the date to today.
I didn't mean to click that.
We're gonna do mains one soft res like usual. We're gonna link the updated sheet in a sec.
It's the same sheet that's in the off night raids, but let me make sure.
Everyone can head over though.
What's the font gonna be this week?
Okay, it's set right now, so everyone can edit. So go add yourself or soft res.
Oh, hey, fuck your choice of font, by the way. This is terrible.
Is it Comic Sans?
It isn't not Comic Sans.
Better now.
It was Comic Sans the first week.
What channel is this in?
Off night raids, if you scroll up. Oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Dude, get that. I can't even read any of those words, dude.
Oh, no.
Just make it legible, please.
Yes, sir.
Just me again down here. How is that a font name?
In
Dude, I
a
don't know.
language that everyone can read.
That's English.
Wingdings, please.
Oh.
I wish, man.
Switch it to wingdings.
They don't have wingdings. The travesty. Oh wait, more fonts. Hold on.
Just do something normal.
Okay, fine.
What are you saying? Just because it's curvy, it's not normal?
I literally can't even like read these. It's so tiny and blue.
You couldn't read in the first place.
Real
you're
fonts have curves, Austin.
You're not Control F finding your item you're gonna soft res anyway.
Well, I'm looking at the items, dude. I don't know if I want to, I might want to just mix it up.
Worse because they're too large.
I'm just gonna look at Atlas loot.
I like this is a good font.
Press start player 2.
Dude, there are no curves now, coach. Is it better?
Jesus.
It's a great font.
Actually, do kind of like this font.
Yeah.
Makes me feel like I'm playing Oregon Trail and not World of Warcraft.
It does look exactly like Oregon Trail. That's so funny.
You have died of dysentery.
I beat that game for the first time like a year ago because they have the old school DOS version.
All right, guys. So we're allowed to reserve the mount. Should I reserve? There's already 2 people reserving the tiger. Should we reserve the raptor?
Do you cross the river?
How do you cross river, really?
Always pay the Native American.
3 people on the tiger.
What's your choice?
I feel like we should reserve the raptor. Just because it's the only raptor Torrance can get in the game, and if it drops, it's uncontested.
Love that.
Should we do it?
Character's so willing to just like disassemble his fucking wagon, turn it into a boat. That's a lot of work, dude.
Yeah, but
Chat's lack of input is not helping.
he's got his whole family, you know.
We're doing it. We're gonna reserve.
Makes his wife just like press the back end of that bit.
We're gonna reserve the raptor. I would like to actually reserve an idol, but I think people need it. Do it. Okay. Raptor is reserved. Right now it's uncontested. So if the raptor drops, we get it. There's 3 people reserving the tiger, which the tiger is arguably a cooler mount, but the raptor on a Torn is actually pretty sick. Sorry, I didn't mean to pull XL up. I did like my idea of trying to 99 parse as feral. I wonder how hard that is. Like, how good of gear do I need to get to be able to 99 parse as feral? Let's look up some feral druids.
Alright, do we have everyone here then? Just gotta pop inside, I think.
How is this top feral druid? It says he has no world buffs. What? This dude's literally like out DPSing some of the highest
I thought it was unlocked already.
DPSing.
I'm still locked for 13 hours. God damn it. I'm sorry. The other Wummy can come in, or not Wummy, was it Wiggles that left?
It was Wummy that left.
I'll come.
Sorry about that. I didn't check.
It's all good, man.
Soft res, shark.
We might have to heal some of this.
Give me 1 second, Chunkus. I'm grouping the coins so I know which ones I need.
Yeah, I have them like all sorted in my bags, so they're like next to the ones that go together.
Kevin Chan Harrod. Have I found my manual crowd pummers yet? No, have not.
It's not that big of a deal, honestly. If someone
I'm looking.
was
So
or had extra of that type or something.
I'm curious to see this dude's gear. Is it showing up for you guys? Yeah.
Oh, you need Gurabashi, right?
So it's crazy how much damage is literally just auto attack. Literally, you just all you have to use is 2 abilities. Okay. Feral guide almost done.
I'd take Hakari, File Branch, Gurabashi.
I literally have this ring, I think. We'll set helm. With 8 agility. These I don't have. I could get those though. These are pretty easy to get. I actually do have this. I do have this. Are these actually bis legs if you're hit cap?
Good deal, good deal.
Why is he giving me core of the earth? Isn't this off of this is off of the Lords, isn't it? I literally just use manual crowd pummeler all raid. Huh.
Alright guys, we got a lot of people in here. Let's start pulling.
PvP gear is also great, but you have to have like the high warlord gear,
Is there
right?
a soft res sheet?
There is.
Which I don't have.
Where's that at?
It's in the Off Night Raids channel.
Okay.
I'll probably log guys. Mains only for soft res.
Go back to group loop.
Oh yeah.
Rank 12 and 13. Yeah, I could see maybe like when the next phase comes out, potentially pushing that, but I don't think I'll try and push any of that stuff. We already have a wolf's head helm too, so we just need to get the I think I have to use a different set of gear though that's not going to be like as optimal because it's going to have hit cap, but we're going to show up, it's going to be surprised, no one's going to know, and then all of a sudden we're going to be a cat DPS.
What? Wait.
What'd you say, Trey?
I did it. It's fun for about 11 ranks. That sounds right. PvP is fun for about 11 ranks, and then it's not fun anymore. Yeah, I know. There's a couple people like in our guild, or just different people we played with that are Jesus, that were like wanting to rank, and they said the same thing. They got to like rank 10, rank 11, and then they're like, dude, this sucks. Well, I think I'm in my PvP gear.
Two of you guys were trying to type at the same time. If that was a Chungus, you're not on there anymore then.
Oh, maybe that's what I.
Oh, so you erase me?
Let's see, you guys erased each other.
I don't think we have a Chongo in this red group.
Never heard of them.
Save last.
Based Chongo.
Who would have thought it's actually useful having mages that are Blizzard spec'd?
We got the other mistresses as well.
I don't care about the coins. I just want the Bijous.
I admit I might have.
All right, we're gonna actually try to keep Moonfire uptime
Was that not a rank 1?
on
I
these
figured we were just
bosses
throwing that down to slow 'em.
and see how we do.
Fair enough.
I was thinking about this while I was driving actually today,
I just want to do the boss.
and
I can go kill it all.
Moonfire, if you are able to keep Moonfire uptime 100%, should actually gain you a significant amount of DPS.
And then run back and wipe you guys.
Do the two of you guys just want to like clear the whole?
Assuming that you're allowed to have the debuff slot,
8 hours, I think so.
because it actually ends up doing pretty close. If not, I think it's almost exactly the same amount of damage as a Starfire crit.
Yeah, wait for the.
So it's basically like a guaranteed
here.
crit as far as damage wise. However, it only takes a global to cast, right? So it's a way bigger DPS gain because the actual DPS is much, much higher because it's a 1.5 second cast instead of a 3 second cast. Not to mention it has a higher chance to crit. So if you start to calculate in like the crit
Alright guys,
damage.
I want everyone to double check your soft res right now. I'm gonna lock it here in just a second.
Let's make sure we're good. Are you kidding me? Why? Want me go reserve something else?
Rippler's.
Dude, I don't need anything out of here, man.
Huge flex.
Dude.
Don't even need that tiger?
Yeah, reserve the tiger.
There's like 7,000 on the tiger.
I know you're sabotaging my strategy, dude.
Alright, it's
I
now
was thinking
locked.
about coming to the Raptor actually.
It's
Don't.
now locked. If you want to change something, say it between when I pull the boss and now.
I'm gonna head out for your feral 99 parses. Make sure that you put iron counterweights on each manual crowd pummeler. I know, man. We'll see. We'll farm up those crowd pummelers. Hey, thanks for hanging out, man. Have a good night.
Alright, gonna go ahead and pull the boss.
Guys, what if we got the tiger and the raptor? That'd be kind of nice.
Fresh.
Damn, dude.
Totem.
I'm gonna get you.
What the hell is hitting me?
Man, he's holy noving unmercifully.
Good shade, bud.
Totem.
Oh!
Get him, he has no block.
Dude, I can't holy nova these shades. What is this garbage?
Totem.
Big 162 crit. Oh!
I killed 1.5 shades while I was under. You're welcome.
Healing totem's still healing him. That's why he's not dying. Kill the totems, guys. There we go. Nice job.
And I want to keep executing over and over and over again.
Only need on the idol if you soft resed it. Pass on the stuff that you guys don't need.
Is that plasma? Please me? Thank you for the follow, please me. DS with the big follow. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Did anyone soft res the mace? I don't think so. Doesn't look like
I don't want to lead the way.
Yeah, you can go ahead and lead it then. The hexer. Right?
Please me. Welcome.
Hunter loot, baby.
It's a pet set right there.
It's the arcane shot set.
Oh man, now you just need the BWL trinket.
Yeah, tier.
Oh god.
Can I stop res reju?
No.
Yeah, well, mate, can you double check? I thought I changed it.
What if I ask really nicely, Luffy?
You can ask after all the other healers get it, and then I might say yes.
We got the pack in the
After
back
everyone
here.
but not you?
Yes.
Oh,
I'll give you mine actually.
Looks like we're gonna get Panthers too.
I'll give you my DFT.
Deal.
Got baited, I'm never getting a DFT.
Totally forgot that follow exists. I know, man. I know it's a bummer. I wish YouTube had their streaming stuff set up a little more. In a perfect world, I would just only stream to YouTube, but
Dude, we're getting sandwiched by these freaking axe throwers.
Twitch just has a lot of things that I really like.
Tried to poly him out of it, and then he just started.
The
wrecking
emotes are cool, all that kind of stuff. I think you can do emotes on YouTube too, but it's a little more complicated.
Could I have just like soft res the first 10 pages?
No.
Can I software the first 9? I would also like to software his reputation.
I wish I could come on like an exalted character and transfer my rep. Imagine the boost you could sell like that. Like 19 exalted people, just one person gets exalted in a row.
That'd be pretty sick. I would vote for that change. Hashtag fuck no changes.
YouTube streams are kind of comfy. Yeah, I mean, I like streaming on YouTube, but I wish it just had the thing that's great. Like, so I stream on multi-stream, so it streams to both at the same time. But Twitch's like chat and emotes and that kind of stuff is better. And the fact that Twitch has Twitch Prime is also like a really cool feature. I don't really like the YouTube super chats, and like the YouTube like member thing is kind of weird. I don't know. It just is like more clunky, I guess. It's like Twitch's it just seems super like it's so easy, and like YouTube it just I don't know what it is exactly, but it just kind of feels like weird. Came back to Twitch because fuck YouTube. YouTube is great for a lot of reasons. I really like the fact that it like VODs everything, and I have like my YouTube content and the VODs all like post at the same time. Like that's really great because all the content's in one spot, you know, that's part of the the reason I stream to both. And some people just prefer both. I just wish from like a streaming perspective, YouTube was like a little more dialed in, you know. Levin, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can you sub with Twitch Prime? Yeah, you can sub with Twitch Prime. I have a affiliate or whatever it's called on Twitch, so you can sub with Twitch Prime on Twitch. We're partnered on YouTube too, so but like YouTube's function is the equivalent is member is what they call it, and then like their built-in dono system is super chats. It actually kind of took me like a while to figure all this out because I couldn't figure out I was like, well, if you stream on YouTube, like how does that work? Because I never watched any YouTube streams. Like I basically only watched Twitch streams, so I didn't know what all the equivalents were. But if YouTube had a partnership like how Twitch Prime does, I feel like that would be a really big step, because I feel like a huge amount of viewers watch on Twitch, like watch 1 or 2 people, and like Twitch Prime to that person, or you know, a couple people, you know, off and on depending on who they're watching, to like support them. And that feature, that like, I don't know, that aspect of Twitch is really cool, because it's like a way to support, you know, to support whatever content creator you actually enjoy, but it doesn't actually cost you any money. And like subbing in YouTube doesn't do any of that the same way. So if they had some kind of way to do that where you could like support, you know, one person of your choosing on YouTube or whatever, I feel like that would be a big step, because I feel like it would incentivize a lot of people. Also, the like interface, the user interface on my end for YouTube is kind of weird compared to Twitch. Twitch is pretty clean, and like the YouTube streaming UI is not, I'm not a huge fan of it either. That's okay. Got it worked out. I love the fact that all the VODs post up though. We were talking about this the other day, so like at the end of Classic, I'm going to go through and put together like a highlight reel and go through like the whole, like all of Classic. And it's like, even now, like I've had that happen where I go back and you see those, you know, kind of highlight channels where they go and do the videos, and they take all these like glimpses from the very beginning of Classic and like all the way through. And it's just so many like funny, like positive memories. But I'm looking forward to that too. I'm gonna go back and put together like a memories of Classic reel, little highlight reel.
Okay, go ahead and slap it. fucking slapping there, dude.
I popped everything.
Hell yeah.
No boobs, but
Ouch.
Trying to decide if I want this for PvP. I don't know if anyone reserved that. We'll greet it. Ideally for PvP, we'd have the cloak off of Neff. That's like in a perfect world.
Mommy, I love the bank pictures. Getting all ready for AQ.
Oh yeah, I'm up to like 50 something elemental earth.
Hell yeah. So I gotta farm me some more of that.
One night of progression, right?
Alright. Watch out for the Panthers. Can't remember, do they walk across? Might actually have to pull them. Can't remember if they do or not. Yep. Okay, we got them. Careful, do not pull the berserker. Everyone stick to the right side up here. Then everyone move to the left. Do not pull this pack either.
Slide to the left.
Can we roll for herbs?
Yeah, go for it.
Wait, is there even an herb in here?
I don't know.
Can I request that we do the Edge of Madness?
Sure. You have the summon thingy?
Yeah.
Should roll for the node too.
Who won that?
Matt, can you pop up there and mark him for us? Get ready to pull it back.
Okay, Drya got
Hey, Drya with a 90.
Alright, Tal, I'm gonna need you to throw your tank stuff on for this one.
Hey, Angrath with the follow. Wow, it's Angrath.
Matt,
That's
mark
good.
Skull on the main boss, and then X and Star on the others. We'll have you take not Zath, but the other one. I don't know which mark it will be.
Berserker first.
Is there one behind?
Zath,
Yeah,
where?
it's all the way over here.
Okay. Yeah, let's grab the Zerker then. If he's close. So don't pull yet, Matt.
Hey,
Square, you said?
there's Plasma.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Okay.
Hanging out to
Jiraiya, we'll
ZG
have
in like
one
10 minutes.
square.
Nice, man. Yeah, we just finished Molten
And,
Core.
Matt, what's the other mark?
Coming in for a quick,
Main boss.
quick ZG.
That's X.
X.
I'm getting tired, guys. I've literally been going to bed at like
So top one's
10:30
on X.
all last week, with the exception of one night this week, and I took a nap one day. Ended up staying up really late, but I've been going to bed like so early, so it's like I feel like at like 8 p.m. I start getting like real sleepy. On that early bird schedule. Plasma, what are you trying to get out of ZG? We got like what? Cloaco consumption? What else do you have left on your wish list? Oh, he's out of range.
Bell, I need to pick up Con. More damage on square and X. No one else should be on skull anymore. Okay, damage should be on.
What time you been getting up? You're an old man. Everyone knows I'm like 57 years old, or however old I am now. I've been getting up pretty early. During the week, I get up at like 6:30. Because I have a job that I've been trying to get there around like 7:30 in the morning. So I get up around 6:30. And then on the weekends, I've been getting up around like 7:38. It's like my sleep in currently. $57. I know, dude. It's like a running joke. I went from like 42 years old to like 54 years old to like who even knows now. I'm basically like a vampire. It could be like 300 years old. We don't even know. I age quickly. I know. I'm like a cat. I have all the gear I need from ZG. Nice. Like that hit trinket to play around with, though. Yeah. I thought about that hit trinket. Like might have some viability, but I don't know, man. I feel like you just lose so much DPS while it's on cooldown to have it for any like actual active fight. I know we've gotten a few of them, and we get them all to our tanks for like taunt resist trinkets. "31 and people tell me I look 21. Half of me is insulting, half of me feels good." I mean, it's definitely better to get people telling you that they think you look younger than you are. Unless you're like a middle schooler trying to buy alcohol, you never really want to look like you're never like trying to look older than you actually are. It's like, oh, you're really aging poorly. I thought you were way older than you actually are. If anyone tells you look younger than you are, that's a good thing.
Which boss is it this week?
It is Hazara. His last day is.
So it was my birthday during all this COVID stuff, like a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I just turned 30, right? And so my ID expired because like every whatever it is, 5 or 10 years.
Oh, we mana burn the boss, so that's exciting.
The expiration date on your ID, like you need to get a new ID. My picture is from when I literally was 15. Like for some reason when I got my ID, like the newest one, they didn't require me to get a new picture. So my picture is literally 15-year-old me. And I went to go buy beer. And the girl's like, Hey, do you have your ID on you? Mind you, like I'm wearing sunglasses and I have a mask on because you can't go anywhere without a mask now. So she can't even see my face anyway. It doesn't even matter what the hell. Like I could look like a Jabberwocky in my ID. She's not gonna know the difference. But she asked for my ID, and it's expired. And she's like, "Oh, I have to ask my manager." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, if you look at my ID, it says I'm fucking 30 years old. Like I'm not. It's not like I'm not old enough to buy alcohol. So until I get my new ID, I'm gonna just tell them I don't have my ID on me. They like acted like iffy about it. Like, I don't know, this expired like a month ago. Like, really? Like, you see how wrinkly my forehead is? There is no way that I'm too young to buy beer. See how little hair I have on my head? Dude, I'm like, you have to actually go into the DMV to get your ID updated too, I think. That's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited. That sounds like such a good time. I wonder if with all this quarantine stuff, if there's a way to do it without actually having to go in. You think they're like letting you just renew your ID over the phone? Or over the, like, online? Need to replace my Staff of Dom. Are you going to try and get Jindos? I feel like Jindos would be better than Staff of Dom. I haven't looked at that, like, comparison, though. Maybe not.
Doesn't coming here just remind you guys of Beavis and Corpins every time now?
You bring them up.
Are you an enchanter?
I'm so sad I missed that one.
I have Jindos, but my best one hand is Orstone Hammer with no enchant. Oh, dude, Demonic Ruin. Needing that.
Who is that? Who is that?
Hoping for Claw or Lock, yeah. I feel that. I know, I'm like so lucky the fact that I got Locomir so early.
He also took the idol.
Yeah, but the demonic room.
No, I think the mage won it. He got second. Also, let's roll.
Oh
for
yeah,
this, or...
yeah, but he did roll need on it. So that's still worthy of, you know, threats to his family or something.
Trin, where were you when Beavis just messaged you?
Nicholas, what was your roll?
Just cheap AK, poor AK lazy.
We're getting buff. Like, didn't even remember me either. I was so offended.
Are we ready? If I
Yeah, the gold is interesting in classic because I feel like I've gotten
I don't know if we're ever ready for this boss.
like the reason I'm under 2K right now is because I bought some mats for that feral setup for Veil.
We can survive on a renew run.
But I feel like if you get to the point where you're more or less just raid logging, I feel like I make gold from us going to raid. You know what I mean?
You have a blood scythe, right, Nicholas?
1865. I know we have more. I have just over 5K between all the characters, but half of that is on our bank. The bank alt's got just about 2,400 gold.
Where did that mana go?
Why am I asleep? Oh.
Okay, so don't go out.
But I feel like now raiding, I feel like I make more gold than I spend on raid. So it's like every time I raid, you know, you finish the raid and you have like 70 more gold than you had just from like gold from boss, you know, like the boss drops or whatever. So I feel like as I've gotten to where I like quote unquote like I'm more like raid logging, I'm like making gold because I'm not spending any gold on anything.
Did you set it to Master Loot?
I definitely
Gotta look up your profile on Warcraft logs and check out your best numbers. You're doing okay so far. I would have liked to have done a little bit better in BWL so far.
Stay away from the
But I think
voodoo.
it's really tough because
Go down to loot initially. See if Ethan can just.
because you're competing against obviously other gear of other players, right? But you're also competing against like their raid.
Okay,
Oh,
everyone
who
pass.
would've-
Everyone pass. Let's grab it.
Oh, I didn't even see it because I have one.
But I was saying it's like your individual like stats and items and stuff like that are obviously very important on the parses, but it's also really contingent on how quickly your guild kills it. So it's like for us, we've rated a huge percentage of our raids. We don't have a full 40, which makes it really tough to parse just because fights are just taking longer. So you have to waste globals on innervate. You're having to like use consumes more. Like if we're able to have just faster, shorter fights, it's a lot easier to get higher parses. And like the fact that you're competing against people that have like tier, for example, like having tier and not having tier is a massive DPS difference. Even more so when you have things like world buffs, right? Because that hit becomes so much more valuable to ensure that as many of your abilities are landing as
Or just to
possible.
pretend like there aren't footwalkers.
I would like to, yes.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
It's easier to parse higher if your fights are
thanks for
shorter. Yeah, I
ruining
mean it's
that for
that's
everyone.
like.
Jeez.
No problem.
I mean, we'll get there eventually when we have like a full 40. The main issue isn't like anything outside of the fact that we just have had a hard time filling that like last like 10 or 8 slots in raid have been kind of like back and forth. I think right now we're at a spot where we probably should have a full 40 moving forward in most of this stuff. But that's definitely one thing like so far like that's a more Taunt him. Taunt him! Oh! Oh, God. That was so scary. Oh, I'm sweating now. Huh.
Alright, we got.
But, like, through most of BWO, we didn't have a full 40, so you end up having, like, you know, 3/4 of your raids where you're running with, like, 38 people, 35 people. I know, like, one of our first Neff kills, we had 33 people. Like, it was, like, the second or third time we killed Neff.
Try and just grab a star and pull it away from everything.
Have Ani, Warchief's Blessing, and ZG on your way to ZG.
Which one was that?
Yeah, dude, ZG with buffs feels really good. I wish I had buffs. But we'll see if we could get tier. I was really hoping I was gonna be able to get tier before this next week, because this next week is the last Dark Moonfire buff for the remainder of BWL while it's current. So this is really the last week to really try and push numbers wise, you know, like from a parse perspective. I was really hoping I could get tier before this, but didn't happen. So we'll see. I would really love to finish with the overall 99 in BWL. That's my goal. We got a couple fights, like Vale being one of them, where we need to pump it a little bit harder.
Alright, kill Diamond first. I don't think it can actually break them out.
I don't know what else I saw. Electrocute them and then start moving towards us.
Gelati.
The plot thickens.
No, that was not Chinlighting cast.
I don't know, last week I saw it spread to them while they were turtles and it didn't break them out. Maybe they just all resisted that one part. I'm not sure.
There are 2 procs, right? Maybe one can break it and the other one can't.
Maybe. But if it resists on one, does it resist on all of them? So is it chains? That's why, or did they all resist?
No, like the visual's bugged, it's like it disappears on the one that resists it.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
assuming you need to get Burning Adrenaline to get a 99 on Veil. I think I can get a 99 on Veil if I'm in Feral Gear. I think. Without Burning Adrenaline. But as balance, yes. I have to get Burning Adrenaline to get a 99 on Veil if I'm like straight up DPSing as balance. But I think I can put on, like, so next week my plan is to have, we'll have full world buffs and consumes and everything. And on Veil, I'm going to go DPS as Feral. And if I'm in Feral, I can't actually get Burning Adrenaline because it doesn't act like we have mana. So it means I won't have a risk of actually losing my world buffs. And I think I can pull around 700 or 800 DPS probably on Veil. Which, I don't know how it's going to register that. I don't know if it's going to register as like what is dealing damage or if it's going to register as my talent spec. Like if it's going to compare my DPS numbers to balanced druids or if it's going to compare my DPS number to feral druids. Either way, it's significantly more DPS. But, and the other thing that's a big deal is it actually like saves our world buffs, right? We don't run the risk of losing world buffs if you don't get Burning Adrenaline. So it's a good way to still get some high parses and not actually lose your world buffs. I think it'll comp you as feral. So I thought that that's how it worked too, but if you go and look at balanced druids, there's balanced druids. Some of the top damaging balanced druids are feral druids getting registered as balanced druids. And I don't know if it's how they're spec'd. I don't know what it is. But it's like Warcraft logs is kind of buggy because I looked at what like the top balanced druids parses and his top Veil parse, like all of the fights he's balanced.
Oh, you got back to us.
And if you click on his Veil parse, it pulls up and it's obvious that he's DPSing in cat. So I don't know if it bugs out. I do know that in general, like we've talked about it a couple of times. I know because of the fact that you have infinite energy, you can actually do really high DPS as feral cat. Regardless of spec on that fight, like if you just have gear.
Alright, let's get some mana. Make sure the ranged group isn't.
Maybe they get Burning Adrenaline, start spamming Starfire. No, like you can see his damage done is from Shred and Ferocious Bite. And you can click on his gear and you can see that he's wearing feral gear that fight. He's specific, it's only that one fight. He like literally has feral gear, swaps feral gear on, DPS's in cat on Veil, and then goes back to balance for the rest of the fight. But I don't know if it's categorizing him as balance because the majority of the raid he's DPSing as balance, or if it has anything to do with maybe like talents. Like maybe it's registering just like over the course of the raid, you know, if this ability is used or this aura is gained, then it categorizes you in that category. I don't know exactly how it works. What are the best slots to get nature resist gear on? So I believe for ranged, we aren't going to really need any nature resist. So from what I understand, Brittany with the follow. Hey, thank you. Welcome. From what I understand on that, all the AQ stuff is that your Huhuron is the one that's like the most nature resistance intensive as far as gearing, but it's based on your closest melee DPS having it. It's not really like your range DPS aren't actually it's not really that important for your range DPS. What the hell is that? For your range DPS to have nature resist. So for that reason, I'm not particularly farming it. There's a bunch of pieces that drop off of the world bosses if you're able to do that. Our server is really hectic, so I can't farm any world bosses realistically, right? I know you get a really good nature resist ring from turning in an Abyssal Scepter from in Cenarian Hold, just like a normal like rep turn-in quest. That comes out in phase 5. So the ring slots I would say are really like the biggest one for sure. I know you get a really like mediocre neck, but I would say more so than a just generic like here's the nature resist pieces you should get. the better answer is honestly, depending on what gear you have, I would try to keep your highest DPS items, like whichever items are your most BIS items, keep those, and whatever are your worst item slots that you have, assuming you're not like full BIS, that's what I would replace. But I personally would probably rock like 1 nature resist ring, and then we have like Gift of the Wild on top of that, and then we have like our Tor and Racials another 10, and like I'll probably just sit around that unless like we really need a lot of nature resist for something. I'd also probably use like a cloak. Cloak's another good slot. There's like the craftable stuff. There's a bunch of cloth craftable gear, right? That's all really good NR gear. I just don't think we're actually gonna really need it, you know? Scepter turning quest is in phase 6. I don't think so. I think the nature resist ring comes out in phase 5. At least that's what everyone's been saying on our server. People have been like selling the scepters.
Enhance wasn't viable.
Like here, you know, buy a scepter 75 gold to get your nature resist ring in phase 5. I haven't looked into that, so maybe that's not the case. You might be right. I don't know that for sure.
But we don't.
But I thought it came out like when all the other quests and all the rep stuff comes out.
You could do good damage if you wanted to, but you
I thought the scepter turning
Yeah,
quest came
exactly.
out then as well, but
Shut up.
maybe not. But there's a bunch of good pieces you can get from Mara. There's a bunch of really good crafted pieces that aren't too expensive. But I'm not actually planning on having to actually wear like specific nature resist gear. I think you'll more need to like pre-pot and have nature resist potions, similar to like how we have to deal with like Fire Maw, you know? But I imagine AQ is not going to be too bad as far as gearing. It's catch-up gear. Oh, Blue Post confirmed it 3 days ago. Interesting. Well, obviously not that ring then.
resist.
Pay for that resist.
Good crafted pieces are phase 6.
At least I don't have the poison now.
Oh, it's not letting me do aura in combat.
200 IQ player right there.
Can I get tier prior to me so I don't get my counterspell resisted?
No.
I tried.
Maybe once you change specs back into a rating spec.
You can get real.
Well, what just shows a rating spec? Excuse you. How could you just say that about one spec?
Let me see this. What was I thinking of? Cenarian.
I feel like you're not the same spec as him.
So all of these rep rewards or patterns are all phase 5, at least based on Atlas loot. I'm assuming this is right. Right? So revered, you have a 20 nature resist cloak. You have 30 nature resist cloth chest piece. You got some other leather gear. So like this stuff will be pretty easy to get. Like these patterns, a lot of people, like I'm already revered, a bunch of people are already revered, so those recipes will be pretty common. So if you had to get another, 50 or 100 nature resist, it wouldn't be that hard to do it with just those patterns, because you could just throw on a couple of those pieces, like, lose your helm, lose your cloak, and like you're at 50 nature resist, right? Not to mention there's going to be the enchants, right? The nature resist enchant. But I don't think for ranged, I don't think we're going to really need any of it. Who knows though, we'll see. There might be some better pieces that come out phase 6, but at least on this stuff, all the recipes are gated by Cenarian rep. And supposedly they're all coming out in phase 5 with like the wizard oils and all that type of stuff. So if we need nature resist, that's what I'll do, is just get the crafted stuff. Because I have a lot of moon cloth. I have like any mats I need. I have a good chunk of all that stuff just on different alts that I don't sell. I just keep them stocked up. Sylvan Bramblewood set. Sylvan Bramblewood. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Factions. Oh, these two pieces are. So Atlas loot's wrong.
Alec, definitely number one tank shaman in the guild there.
Whoa, what? That's interesting. They're making all that stuff phase 6. So you're gonna have to like farm Mara then to get some of that stuff. I know one of our warriors went and did like 3 or 4 Mara runs and got like all the pieces and got to like 150 nature resist really easy. Sylvan and Bramble. Yeah.
Are we jumping down or pulling them up?
So what's coming out with the rep stuff then?
Can you really tank?
I feel like that was like.
When we drop down.
Oh, I pulled aggro.
Get a tremor totem.
I pulled aggro. I pulled aggro. I pulled aggro.
And honestly, like shaman taking an Nixia is like kind of like finally level playing field for them, since no one has taunts.
Yeah, I just ran with them in a dungeon and they were holding threat really well, so.
Alright, everybody get ready to hop down. Alright,
So
going down.
there's basically plate gear and mail gear, but there's no cloth and leather gear. We'll see. That'll kind of suck if they have like none of the nature resist stuff comes out before AQ, because it's like once AQ's on, like you're not gonna want. I mean, maybe people will. I don't know why you would like why they would have it all come out after the raid that you actually need it.
Thank you.
I know Warlocks can tank on you for sure, though. No way they couldn't.
Do it every week.
Right.
Pretty sure any class
They couldn't have seen a lot.
Warlocks
See,
can
rogues
take
do it, too.
any, as long as they believe.
I mean, if we have enough healers, they probably can.
Wow, Heroes Band. Never seen one of those before.
Dryad, you want boss or ads? Okay. Let you go ahead and pull, and I'll pull the boss off you then. Careful on damage on the boss early. Let me get him into position first.
Give me 10 seconds for my blood rage.
Sure.
Ow.
Don't do that.
Stand not so close.
Range should be max, right?
You guys shouldn't. That wasn't range. That was melee running in at 69%.
Well, there's also range people that are between.
Because they
range
didn't
and
run
melee.
together. They chained to the entire raid.
Well, the entire raid. Some of us are still alive. Don't love
Yeah, I was
those
looking at my
dead
phone.
people.
I mean waiting.
Just because you got chained first doesn't mean.
I'm bummed the Raptor didn't drop, dude. That could have been our mount.
Alright, let's res the dead.
Well, man, it looks like my arm's over you, like I'm consoling you.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Or like you're sheltering him from the blast.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
on my
exactly.
butt, though. It's a little weird. It's on my butt.
Hey, can you blame him?
The bony undead butt. My dog is starting to flip shit again. Someone must be blowing shit up.
Hey, it's time for our favorite pack we definitely don't pull.
Never pull it.
I feel like the moment that nobody mentions it is the week we're not gonna pull it.
The week we don't get chain lightning is the week we won't pull it.
I feel like we don't usually all die to chain lightning.
There's usually at least like 5 people that die.
What happened in Oakland and LA?
I heard somebody saying that like they're
Fireworks?
postulating that like since a lot of big commercial fireworks shows were canceled, a lot of those fireworks were being sold retail.
We had fireworks shows in Calgary here on
Did you guys hear about that? I didn't know about that.
days ago.
There's been like, I haven't heard any fireworks where I live.
Canada Day.
No, it's just because we usually do the Calgary Stampede every year, but that's canceled this year, so it's kind of just like a thing that can cost because they're still doing like Calgary Stampede food things. You can like go there, like drive through, I guess, and there you can order it, but yeah, it's kind of like
They usually, they usually have like the fair over by my house, but they didn't have the fair this year. But they have like a drive-through of the fair food stands, so you can go like drive in and get like deep fried Twinkies.
pretty much the Calgary Stampede is. It's like a huge outdoor show.
Yeah.
Rodeo and like rides and all that shit. More or less, the rodeo is the best part of it. But yeah.
Have you ever ridden a bull?
I've ridden horses, but
Would you count mechanical?
Is that what you do on the weekends?
Oh yeah.
Guys, I really want to know what happened to Dr. Disrespect. Have any of you guys seen that stuff? I'm not really even like a huge Dr. Disrespect fan at all. I've watched his stream a couple times. It's more just like the way his last stream ended to then going into being like permanently banned.
Commit.
Seems so weird. Like I want to know all of the juicy deets about what the heck happened. I feel like there's got to be some crazy story behind it.
Not even close.
bar was gone for like a solid half a second, but it didn't.
Yeah, I thought we were all about to die.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo.
Yeah, they got some wacky shit though there at the Stampede, like food wise, like
Dog is gone. I mean,
unreal deep fried shit.
I feel like he's not done streaming. I don't think he's
Making me
like
sad they
done.
canceled the Great Minnesota Get Together.
I don't know. It's weird. He has a. I mean, he signed a contract with Twitch, right?
Yeah.
To like be exclusive to Twitch. And
Yeah,
then
not all
obviously
fans
they're
can be,
terminating that
open.
contract by banning
They were
him for whatever reason
for
that's not
something.
public information yet.
Oh, I'm sure Sweet Martha's can't get shut down by
And if
no
they do that,
virus.
I mean, he should still be able to.
Oh god.
He still should be able to stream, you know, somewhere else on YouTube or whatever, not Mixer anymore. But I don't know. I think it's weird if it's something, if he did something like actually like legitimately really bad, like some kind of criminal charge or something. I'm surprised that it's not known, right? Like, or that he wasn't arrested or something like that. It just seems weird if it's something that's legit really bad. Why is it not public knowledge, you know? But I mean, they can't terminate his contract and ban him. I can't imagine it's something that he did that's bannable on every platform. Like, some people were saying that, but I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what you could do like that. You're not in prison, but you're not allowed to stream on any platform at all, period, ever. Seems weird.
It's just called this Calgary Stampede because like there's like I don't know actually know why the reason for that is. You'd think there'd be like some like huge like thing going through the park of like some stampede, but I don't know the original reason. But yeah, more or less just like it was a huge rodeo at the beginning.
Yeah, wasn't Calgary like a cattle town?
Yeah, well Alberta is, yeah, but
yeah.
Pretty. I don't know if it's supposed to be like one of the largest Western shows. But yeah, I know it's pretty good if you haven't ever seen it.
Alright, gonna pull the boss. Range, make sure you are behind Fuo. Fuo's gonna be out to the side. He's gonna be in front of the range.
I'll say that.
What's your favorite deep fried food? There.
I truthfully don't touch that shit, man. I don't really do deep fried anymore. My like friends will do it. They'll like, I don't know, man. There's like different shit, like deep fried squid and like I don't know, anything you can think of, like deep fry it, like man, everything.
According to the cops, someone called and checked to make sure there wasn't some kind of criminal charge against him.
So yeah, but I know they like add a bunch of other shit.
That's crazy.
Is there deep fried ice cream?
Oh yeah, deep fried ice cream, deep fried Oreo.
It's not respectable if they don't have that.
They like add so much different shit every year too.
The only thing I could think that's a big deal is like if maybe he was like the only thing I think that makes any sense with it, the way that Twitch handled it and the fact that people are saying like, you know, he's definitely banned on Twitch and he's going to be banned on like every streaming platform. The only thing I could think of what it could be that makes any sense at all is that he was creating a competing platform. Right? Because a lot of times in those types of contracts, you have like a non-compete type clause that's in them, meaning that if you get fired or if something happens or if you're let go or whatever, you're not allowed to, you know, create a direct competitor in business to them, and you're obviously not able to do that while you're working, you know, under contract with them. And that is the only thing I could think of that would happen that would be so problematic that other platforms also wouldn't potentially hire him, because it's like kind of sketchy to do. And like it wouldn't be good. Like I could see that being like a difficult thing to get accused of or to have done and then get hired, or, you know, deals with another streaming platform. Excuse me, but I don't, even still, like, that's doesn't seem like that's that big of a deal, or at least big enough to do all of that. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of what it is. Like, he's creating, you know, Twitch 2.0 website that was going to be a direct competitor with Twitch. Twitch figured it out, and it, you know, messes with some kind of terms of service or something that Twitch has, and it's something that's spelled out in his contract that he's not allowed to do. But even still, I feel like that's still, they still handled it weird. And it's weird that he hasn't said anything. I can't imagine that he legitimately has no idea what the heck it's for. Do you guys believe that? I mean...
Same major assignments as before.
I can't imagine that happens to him and he legit is like, oh, I don't know, it just was streaming. Like, I feel like he surely has to know at least what it's about, you know? How are balanced druids versus mages in duels? I would say in general it's pretty easy. It's a pretty easy matchup.
Yeah, so like right there, they're not getting
The main trick against mages is they really only have their one counter spell, which is like the biggest problem for you. So what I generally will do is I hard cast Starfires, because Muzade with the follow. Hey, thanks, homie. Thank you, welcome. They generally will try and kick your first cast, and if they kick your Starfire, you can still run around and you can heal yourself. If you cast Wrath and they kick your Wrath, it's nature and you can't heal. So you don't want to get kicked on Wrath, because worst case if you lose DPS by getting locked, you can at least still heal. In which case, you know, they can't really do anything. And then they also, like, if you're in Moonkin form, they can't polymorph you, so they can't like reset the fight like they can with other classes. So generally, like, that stuff. The other thing is you can shift if they're Frostspect and they Nova you, you can just shift out, you know, and then shift back in. So generally, you have a lot of ways you can kind of counter mages. There's definitely times they can beat you, but I'd say most of the times we beat mages. Why would he renew the contract with them recently? I mean, because something, I mean, the only reason I'm thinking that happened, that the reason that he got cut off like that is because he's like, you know, in terms, like violating the terms and something regarding like a non-compete. Is like, if you're working on a website, obviously this is all hypothetical, but if you're working on a website, it's not like it's like a 6-month project, right? If you're working on something that's polished to the level of something like Twitch, or working on something with a, you know, another company or whatever, that's like a multi-year project to get that really up and running and like to launch it, right? So it could easily be something that's, you know, a couple years out or has like an undecided release date. It could be something that's not, you know, not something that's releasing soon, but it could be something that's directly conflicting with his agreement with Twitch. I can't think of what it possibly could be, because I feel like even still, like, if there's all this, like, you know, all of the like method allegations, all of that, like kind of like Me Too stuff, even if that's the case, I don't feel like that some outside allegation would be a reason that Twitch would then just arbitrarily ban him and not say anything. That doesn't make sense to me, right? And like the fact that it happened at the same
hibernate
time.
on it, if we can, to free up.
But I don't know. I was trying to just think of like what it possibly could be. And that's the only thing I could think of that makes any kind of sense to me.
Sheep Sabbath.
I feel like any criminal charges would be very obvious, like, and known, and I feel like any I don't know. Any like other allegations, if it's something that's not public, I don't feel like they would turn around and like ban him. Who knows though? I'm just, you know, it's all just hypothetical, just guessing.
Alright, it's 30 on the blood siphon. Let's kill the sun.
Yep, kill the sun.
But MCS is only a couple seconds though. It's not enough to counter you in the duel. MCS definitely makes it harder to beat mages, but it doesn't mean that they like will win the matchup. I mean, they can always win the matchup too if they get lucky with a couple crits.
Gonna smack him a bunch.
You can depoison Sabbath. Never mind.
Nice miss on the hoof stomp.
Root, what do you think? What do you think the reason would be why Dr. Disrespect got banned? Given like the situation.
Cheat. Thank you.
What the hell? Where'd that coin come from?
It's 40 to blood siphon, but let's just burn.
Nice job.
Well, we did it.
Toph, do you have those yet?
Yeah.
You're hard on res. Res start.
I don't think anyone rezzed hard. Double check. Nobody on it. Alright, nice job tonight, guys. Quick and easy.
We gotta get some DMT buffs now.
Sign up for Thursday's raid if you have not already. Sign up for Tuesday's optional ZG if you are around and want to go. I will see you guys soon, probably Tuesday, if not Thursday. But nice job tonight. Officers, if you guys got some time, let's pop up there real quick. Everyone else have
No idea. Something could pursue a potential leaker for defamation for. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. It's gonna be some juicy story for sure, though. With all the drama surrounding it, I feel like it's gotta be a big deal. Guys, I am gonna hop off for the night. Thanks for hanging out like always. I appreciate it. We got raid Thursday. Thursday is gonna be the big one. We're gonna literally have every buff we possibly can have. Gonna be trying to go for some big parses. We'll have the 3% crit buff. We'll have the Dark Moonfire buff. We're gonna be flashed. We're gonna be going all out, trying to get the last week of Dark Moonfire for BWL and really push our parses. So come and kick it on Thursday if you guys want to hang out for that stream, 5:30 Pacific time. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Had a good time. Hopefully you guys did too. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.